So this is the current state of the bear riders. They're both in pretty similar conditions. So the sword and shield lady, the base has been done and the bear fur has been done, the base metal's been done. So most of the model is detailed except for the actual rider herself. And it's the same with the spear. That's the spear there. With the spear rider, the bear is slightly bigger. They are a slightly different size. The base is done, fur lines all done, detail painting of the leather straps, and getting them to the mouth is all done. So these were put aside because I had other projects I needed to work on, but now I'm getting back to them. And because they're in this very similar state, I'm kind of going to work on both of them at the same time and try to actually get to completion. So I'm going to work on the smaller of the bears first because they don't have any clothing colour, whereas the other one I've already done the green on that. But with this it's a little bit more of a regal set, like she's got a crown and that, so it's going to be a bit more upmarket. So I thought for the cloth I'd do it in Scarlet Blood. So yeah, the two will have quite different colour tones, colour palettes. That edge up a bit on the bottle. Just a medium-sized brush, nothing too detailed at this stage. It's almost like a lipstick style of colour. Very bright red, but may get toned down a bit anyway with like mud and wear if I do a dry brush or wash. We'll see how we go, but starting colour is red. So the two are different, very different tones, the two models. So the other one's like a more natural green colour, so a lot more kind of environmentally sort of themed. Whereas, like I say, with the crown, this one's going to be a bit more royal. Had a nice night last night with my friend's 50th birthday get together. There was about, I don't know, a dozen or so people. It was quite a decent turnout, and went to a Mexican restaurant. This beef brisket meal, which was really, really nice. So but the most important thing is that he really liked his 50th birthday present, so that was cool. Just a little strap there, which would have been easier with a smaller brush, but most of it is a decent size. It's bright. What's that? It's almost a bit superhero-y being so bright red. So it's like metal discs, which will be a different colour. I'm pretty much going to keep the cloth part the whole way through the same red colour. So that's buckle, but that's here. We'll probably give the metal parts a white undercoat before I paint them, because I'm planning on going maybe polished gold is the first colour that probably comes to mind. Definitely more of a lighter gold. So even on the red, it probably won't work as well. It needs just the same with like the fluoro paints, a white base underneath to work properly. But I'll do this red first, because then it'll be easier to just highlight the parts for metal that I want. So this is like pants, which is why I'm doing it in the colour of the red, but that there is, as I'm interpreting this design, an actual like leather strap. And the same on the other model, there are some leather bits that I will need to paint out, but I wanted to use a slightly different colour than the bare leather, because it's kind of like thematically like it would be a softer, thinner, smaller leather than what you would use on these massive bears. Like, just try and show that it's a different thickness and strength and flexibility and all that. It just would be totally different to what you would use on a massive bear. So that's going to be a strap as well. I'm not going to do that in the red. Well, it could be like a, you could say, argue like a red sash. Maybe I will put them in the red just to keep it all the same. I guess it would look a bit odd when you think of her walking to have this one leather strap in a different colour, so maybe I'll make it all the red then. So I haven't painted the back spikes on this model too. I have on the other bear, which is I think kind of like an ivory colour. Works quite well. Finer brush because it's thinner straps and that. I guess this arm part here I can do with a medium brush as well. As long as I don't get it all over the sword, it should be fine. And I still managed to get a bit on the sword. Just a tiny dot, but that's annoying. I'll have to fix that up. Still, could be worse. Number one rule is don't get it on the bear, because the bear is all finished and has all the highlighting stuff done. So if I stuff the bear up, that's a major pain, whereas the sword, it's just the metallic color and I can put a dab on there and fix that easy as. Okay, so here in metal is a different color, but the bra, corset, whatever you want to call it, is going to be the red. That's not small enough. What about Sayo? What's Sayo? Got some very small strands at the front, and even the straps are pretty thin. Thankfully though, any touch-up works required here is with the basic skin, so if I do need to fix anything I can just do a dab of basic skin. So that's her hair, right, I see, and that's the strap. Don't confuse the hair and the strap, very important. So I was like, there's a different line coming down, but no, that is hair. Okay, I might leave that there. Alright, that's working. Yay. Ah, yes. Okay. Managed to do that without really needing to create any touch-up work. Okay, so strap without touching any wet paint. Comes down around the armour part there. So just a tiny little bit of skin touch up required, but honestly this could have all gone a lot more pear-shaped than it did, considering how thin especially the ropes at the front are. So that's cool. And so that's here, but that strap is what we're going with. So there's like, just loops around at the back and ties at the back and loops around up near the neck. That's the way that I'm interpreting that design. It's a pretty small detail. I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see of this, so I might leave it there for now and finish that off. But that is the red dress and boots and pants, the whole red outfit, I guess, coming along. So yes, next will be, well, I'll probably do these horns off camera, and then when I come back I'll do like the hair and the metal parts. Beer today, got model colour red leather, which I'm going to do the personal leather straps. It's a different colour to the bear straps because I'm kind of assuming or running with the theory that the straps that go on a huge massive bear would be thicker and different to the straps that you just wear yourself on your own clothing. Hopefully you'll get to see most of this. Some of it will be a little bit hidden. I could do a different colour if I wanted with the strapping around her top. And with the other model I just went all in the same colour, like the strapping is the same red as the legs and all that, but in this particular case I think I'm going to, instead of the green of her clothing, the cloth, I'm going to use this leather colour for there as well. so it's more like a cloth with leather straps. But thematically they are supposed to be quite different, and that the lady with the sword and shield is more like a princess sort of character, more like a, you know, clan chieftain's woman or something, you know, more high status, I guess is what I'm going for, than the spear woman. She's more like your regular fighter. So while the sword and shield has fancier clothing, but more sort of like almost regal clothing, this model is much more your standard fighter. Female, yes, but still just a standard barbarian warrior, warrioress, whatever the female version of that is. Is it still a warrior? Number one rule, you can stuff up anything except the bear. Don't go over the bear, because the bear is done. So any touch-ups on the bear require first painting the black and then doing the silver highlights. So not a lot of fun. So let's not do that. It's not a massive difference between the two colour tones, but once it's dry I think it'll be a bit clearer, but even with it wet you can still see the difference in the strappings to their armour. Oh, if you're wondering why I'm wearing different glasses, by the way, these are my work glasses. I was at a Warhammer session yesterday competing against a friend who won, but anyway, I left my glasses there, so my regular painting glasses, that is. On the hair today for the first model with the sword and shield. Going to start with this model color light brown, but even though it's called light brown, that's basically the darkest color that she's going to have. So I'm going to put that on first, and then because there's a lot of texture, a lot of flow to the hair, I will use like a light sandy, almost white color with a very small, well, maybe not a dry brush, they'd probably go everywhere, but anyway, I'll use lighter colors and that will give it more of a blonde kind of finished end off with, but this will be like the darker roots sort of color. This is a pretty small area, so you want to be careful. I also think I'm going to need a fine brush for close to the face. Is that The brush should just go everywhere. Yep, that's better. And while I'm there, I might as well do the eyebrows. I'm going to hold this for that. Yeah, that worked out alright. I have a few brushes. I mainly just use them for eye, dots of eyes, eye pupils, that I don't use much. I just kind of set them aside and rarely use them for when I have really, really fine work like that. If I get a bit on the armour, I don't care at all because that's not painted yet, so that's fine. Plus that will be a metallic, obviously, same as metal, but probably like more like a grey metal perhaps, armour and top. Been debating about what colour I go for. Like if she's a regal kind of model, maybe a metallic will work better, but there's so much with the brass, it's quite a heavy impact, so still thinking about that. Guess I could go like a silver, might also work, and yet have a nice contrast and difference to the other metals. So whatever colour I do that and the armour, and I'll also do the belt buckles. So I've been holding off, just deciding what I was going to do. It's almost got an orange tint to it, this particular brown. That's here, that's coming down side of the face, so I want that. It's easier to paint this side of the face because the hair is proud, not recessed. kind of use the same brush without any problems. So that's, I'm going to say, maybe I'll paint that like that's here. Always change my mind and paint it as metal. This is kind of like a looped design on the crown. Sometimes I do go and open these models up again and have a look at the mesh and blender, or go to the website to see if I can figure out what the design is initially intended. It's not always clear, like, is this part metal or is that part hair? It's like a curved metal part, but the thing is, when I look at the digital meshes, it's all one color usually, and so it doesn't actually always answer the question. And even the sort of like Kickstarter, the stuff they have on MyMiniFactory, they don't have a color photo of everything. Like, even when you buy some of these Kickstarters, frontiers is what they call them, they give you images quite often with the STLs and the campaign you bought, but their images themselves are you know, like grayscale, they're black and white. They're not full color quite often, so that's all right. That's fine because it's my interpretation anyway. You know, you get another artist painting models and they will come up with an entirely different view, no doubt, as it should be. This is my take on it. Okay, well that is the starting colour for the hair of the bear rider with sword and shield. So I'll let that dry. That's basically the darkest colour, so that's the darkest it's ever going to look. When that's dried, I will come back and we'll start doing the equivalent of dry brush with lighter colours. So I've decided to go for this colour called Naples Yellow. It's a Montmartre colour for the hair, and I've picked out this rather large brush. It's not a sort of cosmetic brush, but they're a bit too big for this job, I think, and a bit too imprecise, so it's kind of like part way between. So we'll see how we go. So the idea, of course, with this kind of technique is to get more of the surface stuff, leaving the surface ends, the edges of the hair, I guess, leaving the deep recesses the first colour that we've painted it. So yes, that's kind of what I want. I always knew the brown was going to be too dark, too strong for what I wanted to end up with, but it was a good starting point. Plus, being the light yellow colour, it will be a little bit transparent, not overly so, but a little bit, so you will still pick up a bit of the orangey brown. This part's going to be a bit hard because it's a bit thin. I'm already going to have to do some touch-ups on the skin anyway, so such as life. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay, so that's the hair pretty much done. So now I've got the hair done, I can start working on the metal. So yeah, maybe a two-coat process, but I think I am going to go something for like a silver sort of colour on the belt and on her armour and helmet part. I think it'll be a nice contrast to all the brass. To go with this colour called chainmail, so it's like a silver, maybe just a slight bit darker, more metallic-y than a silver, but I think it, like I said, it will give a nice contrast to all the bronze. So this is going to be on her belt, on her crown and on her body armor. Gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like. So I think I'm going to keep this model relatively clean, like a lot of the trolls and even the barbarian warriors. I've kind of finished them off with a dark brown or a black kind of dry brushing to make them all look a lot more, you know, dirtier and worn armor and all that sort of stuff. I'll do a little bit of that here, but not as much. I'm going to keep it more of a heroic kind of style of model, I think, is my first impulse, to keep it a bit more in a neutral, clean sort of state. Yes, I think that colour is going to work alright. This red needs a second coat, but I was waiting until I'd done the actual decision as to which colour it was going to be before I proceeded with that. And I get to see how this helm will look. Still need to work on her face. Haven't done the lips or the eyes, that sort of facial detail, so that will probably be the last part of the face to do, but come on. There. Just be careful of the belt. getting a lot cooler here in Queensland, so the tank tops are long gone. We had a low of 5 degrees this morning, which for this warm part of the world is pretty darn cool. Now it's more jumpers than tank tops. Alrighty, that looks pretty good for the crown. So just leaves the armour. The straps I'll do the same leather sort of colour as the rest of the straps. So not this bare colour, but the personal leather colour. I think I've missed a bit of arm there, but that's alright. I've got to do some skin touch-ups anyway, so I'll fix that up when I sort out the rest of the skin tones, and the skin usually needs 2 coats anyway. Okay, I might leave it there for now, but that gives you a good idea of the metallic kind of finish that this chainmail colour has. So when I've finished completely with the face, I'll do some more close-up video with my iPhone so you can get a really good look at how it all has ended up, but we're getting pretty close. I'm really happy with the 2-tone hair and how that's worked out, so yeah, nice. So we're not finished yet. We haven't even attached the shield yet, but this just gives you a better idea of the detail of how we're going. Haven't done the eyes yet of the bear or the eyes of the rider herself, but yeah, you can see the plating work, you can see the hair and how that's turned out, and her red uniform. So yeah, it's just a bit of an update shot, progress shot, but yeah, a little bit better detail being able to zoom in on the iPhone.